Salutations, fellow viewers. I am Grandmaster,
And I'm Polonius.
and we'll be teaching you an Algebra 1 lesson today. The lesson we'll be teaching is the 3 rules of exponents. Yay!
The first rule for exponents that we will teach is what happens when you multiply two variables with exponents. When you multiply two of the same variable when they both have their own individual exponents, the variable stays the same, and the two exponents are added together.
Here's an example that demonstrates this rule. 6x squared y all multiplied by 3xy cubed. When multiplying 6x squared y and 3xy cubed, we can go ahead and multiply the two coefficients. So 6 times 3 is 18. Now we have to multiply the variables. We can only combine the exponents of 2 or more variables as long as the variables are the same. So we only write one of each variable and add the exponents of the corresponding variables. So x squared multiplied by x is x cubed, and y multiplied by y cubed is y to the power of 4. The reason as to why this works is because x squared is x multiplied by itself 2 times, and y cubed is y multiplied by itself 3 times. After writing out the question like that, x is being multiplied by itself 3 times, and y is being multiplied by itself 4 times.
The second rule of exponents that we will be teaching is what happens when you divide two variables with their own individual exponents. When you do this, the general rule is to subtract the exponent of the variable in the numerator by the one in the denominator.
Here's an example that demonstrates this rule when the exponent in the numerator is larger than the exponent in the denominator. 2x to the power of 11 multiplied by y to the power of 2, all divided by x to the power of 5 multiplied by y. We divide the coefficients first. In the denominator, there's actually a 1 in front of the x to the power of 5 multiplied by y. So 2 divided by 1 is 2. Now we got to divide the variables. X to the power 11 divided by x to the power of 5 is x to the power of 6. And y squared divided by y is y. The reason why this works is because x to the power 11 is x times itself 11 times, and x to the power 5 is x times itself 5 times. X goes into the numerator and the denominator 5 times, so we cancel out 5 x's from the numerator and the denominator. Y squared is y times y. Y goes in the numerator and the denominator once. Cancel out the 2 y's. The denominator is 1, so we're left with 2x to the power of 6 multiplied by y. There's your answer.
Here's an additional example of dividing variables that have exponents. But in this example, the exponents in the denominator are larger than the exponents in the numerator. Our example would be 3x times y squared all over 9x cubed times y to the 5th power. Divide the coefficients first. 3 divided by 9 is 1/3. X divided by x cubed is x to the negative 2nd power. Y squared divided by y to the 5th power is y to the negative 3rd power. You end up with a negative exponent. Whenever you have a negative exponent, you have to put the variable under 1 with a positive exponent instead. Doing this, we get 1 over 3 times x squared times y cubed. The reason as to why this works is if you break it down like we did before, you end up with something like this. When you start to cancel out, x is cancelled out and y is cancelled out twice in the numerator, so you end up with 1 over 3 times x times y times y times y, which is equal to 1 over 3 x squared y cubed.
The last rule we'll be teaching for exponents is what happens when you have an exponent to an exponent. When you have an exponent to an exponent, you just multiply the two exponents and keep the variable the same.
A good example that demonstrates this rule is 9x squared times y to the 5th power all squared. To solve this problem, we square each part within the parentheses, so 9 squared times x squared squared times y to the 5th squared. 9 squared is 81, x squared squared is x to the power of 2 times 2, and y to the 5th squared is y to the 5th power times 2. This gives you 81 times x to the 4th power times y to the 10th power. The reason as to why this works is that you really multiply 9x squared times y to the 5th by 9x squared times y to the 5th when you square it. If we apply the previous rule of multiplication, we'll end up with 81 times x to the 4th power times y to the 10th power.
Thanks for watching.